In this dead land, people kill for a single drop of water, and some are so desperate they even drink petrol to survive. Welcome to Badland, Road to Fury, where a father fights to protect his family, and a son grows up only to take brutal revenge for betrayal. At the start of the movie, we see a large dry land with no plants growing. A young man named Jerome Holm tells us that he has never seen this land green, but his father has. Long ago, many farmers lived here and grew wheat and other crops, but after a terrible drought, nothing could grow anymore. Most farmers left the area, but Jerome's father, Ernest, stayed behind. He still believes the land can become green again if it gets water. In this world, water is very rare, and people even kill each other to get it. One day, two thieves try to break into their small house. Ernest catches them and kills the first thief. The second thief begs for mercy, but Ernest notices him secretly pulling out a gun and kills him too. Jerome tells his father that maybe he could have helped the man instead. Inside the house is an old water pump. When Ernest tries to use it, it no longer works. With no water left, father and son travel on a mule to meet the watermen. He pull water from deep underground wells through a government deal. Ernest trades supplies with some people to get water. For many years, he has tried to convince them to give him water so he can grow crops on a small part of his land. But the water sellers only agree if he pays a lot of money, which Ernest cannot afford. While returning home, their mule suddenly falls and breaks its leg. With no other choice, Ernest sadly shoots the animal to end its suffering. They return home, where Jerome's sister Mary serves them simple packaged food. Because water is very scarce, Mary cleans the dishes using soil instead of water. The next day, Jerome and Ernest go to Sam Lever's auction house to buy something to replace their dead mule. There, they notice a robotic carrier machine called Simulate Shadow, also known as Sim. Ernest wins the auction, defeating a man named Flem Lever, who is Sam Lever's son. Unknown to Ernest and Jerome, Flem is secretly having an affair with Mary. After that, they visit Jerome's sick mother, Catherine, home. She lives in a nearby hospital and can only walk with the help of a special mechanical frame connected to her body. The device is too expensive, so they cannot bring her home. Jerome spends some time with his mother before leaving. Ernest and Catherine say goodbye and part ways. On their way back, Ernest and Jerome stop at a gas station. After filling the vehicle, Ernest secretly drinks a small amount of petrol. Soon, they meet a desperate couple with a baby asking for water. The father, Robbie, wants to sell his baby because they cannot afford to raise him. Ernest stops him and promises that he will help them by giving water instead. Robbie knows that Flem and Mary are secretly having an affair, and he drops hints about it to Ernest. At home, Ernest questions Mary about why she keeps sneaking out at night. Mary says it is her freedom, and angrily tells her father that she hates him. When she tries to run away, Ernest locks her inside her room and nails the window shut so she cannot escape. One morning, Ernest and Jerome wake up and see that Sim is missing from its shed. Someone has stolen it. Ernest thinks Flem is the thief, so he goes to Flem's house. There, Sam tells him that Flem left early in the morning with a truck heading toward the mountains. Ernest goes to the watermen to search for him, but they attack and knock him unconscious. When Ernest wakes up, it is already night. The watermen accuse him of stealing their supplies. Ernest says he is innocent, but their leader, Caleb, attacks him anyway. They fight, but Ernest manages to grab his rifle and escape. While returning home, Ernest finds Flem sleeping on the road with Sim beside him. It becomes clear that Flem really stole the machine and the watermen's supplies. Ernest points his rifle at Flem, takes him hostage, and ties him to the machine. He plans to take Flem back to the watermen to prove he is innocent. During the journey, Flem makes insulting comments about Mary, which makes Ernest very angry. After walking for some time, both of them become thirsty. Flem convinces Ernest to drink water from the watermen's supply. They sit down, drink water, and talk. Flem tries to persuade Ernest to let him escape so they can share the money, but Ernest refuses because he wants to turn Flem in. Ernest is tired and very weak. He can barely walk anymore and cannot continue the journey. Seeing this, Flem suddenly hits Ernest with a stone. Ernest falls and hits his head on a cliff. His head starts bleeding heavily, and he loses consciousness. When Ernest wakes up, he realizes that he is now tied up instead of Flem. Flem pours water into Ernest's mouth, while Ernest screams helplessly. Later, Flem rides Ernest's motorbike to Ernest's house to take Mary. Mary happily runs toward him. Since Ernest does not return home, Jerome goes out to search for him. On the way, he finds the machine abandoned. When Jerome reaches the watermen, they tell him that Ernest is dead. Everyone believes the machine caused his death. In the next scene, people gather to mourn Ernest at his funeral. Later, Catherine and the kids cry beside her hospital bed. When they leave the hospital, Flem takes them home in his truck. After Ernest dies, Flem becomes like the leader and protector of the family. Jerome gets angry and tries to hit Sim for his father's death, but Flem calms him down. Flem tells Jerome that Mary is pregnant with his child and that he truly loves her. Jerome finally accepts their relationship. Later, Flem goes to the watermen and asks them to send water to Ernest's land. Caleb laughs at first but becomes nervous when Flem blames him for Ernest's death. Flem shows a knife found near Ernest's body that has Caleb's name on it. Afraid of getting into trouble, Caleb agrees to send water to the field. Everyone feels happy when water finally reaches the land. Flem works day and night growing wheat. After a few months, the crops are fully grown. Flem marries Mary and now lives in Ernest's house with Jerome and Mary. One day, Flem's father, Sam, arrives with bank officials and threatens to take the land because of Ernest's unpaid debt. The debt is too big for Flem to pay, so that night he takes the machine and goes to his friend Robbie for help. Flem knows that Robbie plans to sell his baby, so he convinces Robbie to go with him to see how much money they can get for the child. But when they arrive, Robbie realizes that Flem has secretly already made a deal to sell the baby without telling him. The buyers try to take the baby away. Robbie fights back to protect his child, but Flem suddenly shoots Robbie and kills him. This starts a gunfight between Flem and the dealers, and Flem escapes with the money. During the chaos, the robot Sim is shot and badly damaged. Because of the damage, Sim's auto-return mode turns on, and the machine starts going back to its creator, Calvin Huiman. The next day, Flem uses the money from selling the baby to pay the bank loan. Jerome believes the money came from selling Sim, so nobody suspects anything. Later, we see Sim slowly walking back across the border to Calvin. Calvin finds the number written on Sim and calls it, reaching Jerome's house. He tells Jerome that the machine has returned to him. Jerome is shocked because Flem had told him that Sim was sold to Robbie. Jerome asks Flem if Robbie sold Sim's parts and somehow sent them back to the owner. But Flem gets angry at the question and avoids answering. He tells everyone that he will meet his mother that evening, but secretly he plans to cross the border to meet Calvin, the man who makes Sim. Later, he reaches the border, but a guard stops him because he is too young to cross. A girl named Anna calls him and says she knows a way to help him cross. For some money, she hides him inside a vehicle full of chickens and sends him to the other side. They meet again after crossing and then go their separate ways. Jerome goes to meet Calvin. Calvin shows him how the machine works. He explains that the machine's eyes are actually cameras made to record land areas for reforestation. The cameras saved everything the machine has ever seen. Jerome watches the recordings and sees moments he spent with Ernest. While watching, he becomes shocked and horrified. He discovers that Flem was the one who killed Ernest. After Ernest woke up that day, Flem tied him to the machine and sent it toward the watermen. The machine dragged Ernest away while he was still alive but badly injured, leading to his death. By the end of the recording, Jerome is crying. That evening, he goes back home but says nothing to Flem and does not confront him. One day, Flem and Jerome go hunting for deer. After the hunt, Jerome keeps the rifle and secretly hides it under his bed for later use. At breakfast, Jerome tells Flem that Robbie called him. Flem is shocked and says Jerome is lying because Robbie is already dead. Later, Flem receives a letter written by Jerome, pretending to be Robbie. The letter asks Flem to meet him at the same place where Flem had killed Ernest. Confused and curious, Flem decides to go and check if Robbie is really alive. That night, Flem tells his pregnant wife Mary that he needs to go out to sell something. Mary wishes him good luck and asks him to come back soon. When Flem reaches the location, he calls out for Robbie. While walking around, he suddenly falls into a pit and breaks his legs. He cries for help, and then Jerome appears. Relieved, Flem asks Jerome to help him, but Jerome stands silently, holding a rock. Flem realizes Jerome knows the truth about what happened. He apologizes and says it was only an accident. He begs Jerome to spare his life for Mary and their unborn child, but Jerome refuses. Jerome raises the rifle and shoots Flem dead. 2 days have passed since that incident. Mary is worried about her husband, but Jerome tells her to wait a little longer. He decides not to tell Mary that Flem have died. Mary says they should bring their mother back home because now they have enough money to pay for the system where she lives. The movie ends with Jerome deleting all the video memories from Sim.